Hello everybody, welcome back to my channel, and today we are doing a spooky Saturday. We got some ghost stories and 2 videos today. So my mom found this really cool website. It is like a whole website dedicated to publishing, you know, like your paranormal experiences and all that stuff. I got it, you know, scrolling through right now and all that, and it's really cool. I took a little, you know, a little gander at it, just checking it out, and they got like, you know, ghost stories, articles, famous hauntings, pictures and videos, you know, and so much more, and it looked really cool. So I figured that, you know, we expand from Reddit. So my mom found this website and she was like, hey, you know, check this out, and I was like, oh sweet. So yeah, without further ado, let's start with our first ghostly encounter. Okay, so this is our first story that we have today, and this is coming from India, which is another cool thing about this website. Like, it has stories from like all around the world, which is really neat. So I'm excited. So this is the ghostly face and voice on the video cassette. And they actually have it also separated from paranormal category. So this is under haunted items, which is really interesting. So let us read this. Friends, today the story I'm going to tell you all is about a very horrifying and strange incident that took place with me way back in the early 90s when I was young. We had recently bought a video cassette player. For those who are not familiar with video cassette players, let me explain it to you. Those were the days when VCR and VCP were in full form before the beginning of VCD and DVD player and Laserdisc era. Now let me come to the main story. My father had just bought a few video cassettes from a shop near his office for our entire family to watch. Everything was going on happily when suddenly that horrifying incident took place with me. I remember it so freshly as if it had taken place with me just a day before yesterday. My parents had gone out when me and my elder sister were watching video films on our video cassette player, when suddenly my sister fell asleep and I was alone watching a film. Soon the film ended and I felt the need to watch the next videotape. I inserted the video cassette and was watching another movie when suddenly the video cassette went blank, and on the back screen of the TV screen, I saw a demonic face smiling in an evil manner and saying something. First I thought it was just my imagination, but later on what I saw and heard was a very hair-raising thing I've ever experienced in my life. I saw the demonic face smiling at me in an evil manner and saying, "Friend, wherever you go, wherever you stay, I will be following you always." And the face had an evil smile on its lips. I chose not to talk about it to anyone and ejected the tape from the video cassette player. I chose to never touch that video cassette tape ever again. And it's still lying in our old cupboard. Other people have seen it, but they experienced nothing strange or untoward. Only God knows that what was that demonic voice and that face belonged to whom. I'm waiting patiently for your views on the story. Thank you. Got a common spell. Ooh. This is okay. I remember the good old days of VHS. The good old times. It wasn't even that long ago. It makes me sound really old. It wasn't even that long ago. Come on. But I will say there's always just something like eerie about like VHS because you know you have to like sometimes like I mean this doesn't happen with DVDs like you'll get like the fuzzy like staticky things sometimes and all that stuff especially like when the tape is dying. But like it's very very interesting that like everyone else watched that tape and nothing happened. What the fuck? I don't know if that was my fridge, but I heard like a weird tap. I don't think the microphone caught it. But I mean, sometimes when I read these things, sometimes I hear weird stuff in the background and I'm just like, shh. But I know if I saw that as a kid, I would cry. I would honestly cry. You just enjoy watching a movie on a VHS, and you're just like, yay, watching a movie, and then like it just all of a sudden stops, and the screen is black, and then you're just like, whoa, what happened in the movie? And then all of a sudden that fucking happens. Hell no, I would never watch a VHS ever again. I'm like, I'm like, oh no. But it also makes me wonder, okay, because like this person wrote 19 stories, so I don't know if there's like more to this story or what. I don't know. But that'd be interesting, like, because it did say like wherever you go, stay, like I'll be following you. So like I wonder if this person has had like encounters where like that, like the feeling and the energy was from like this creature, like whatever it was. But I don't know. But I didn't. Yeah. The person said like sound like they did tell like the rest of their family eventually, but they chose to ignore it and thought it was just their like. It's like oh you were just seeing weird stuff, but okay, let's see. Okay. So after that incident, it sounds like nothing else happened to them, which is good. Very interesting. So there had to have been like some, because okay, like a lot of times like when you see something that is of the weird, of the strange, typically most of the time it'll be at like the corner of your eye, but if you do see something like straight on, typically there's always usually maybe like you were meant to see it, like there was a reason. So I mean like, so by following that standpoint, wonder why they were the only one that saw it, which is creepy, weird, and interesting. But let me know what you guys thought of this little creepy VHS story. And let's go on to the next story. Alright. So, this one is a strange sleep paralysis. It is countries from Canada. And the category is old hags, night attacks, and sleep paralysis. So, let's check this one out. When I was about 11 years old, my parents had split up and they moved into 2 separate houses. At my dad's house, I got to pick my own room, and I chose the master bedroom because it had a nice view of outside. I found out later that my bedroom was the only part left of the previous house on the property that was built in the 1950s. I don't know anything about the previous house or what happened to it. After a few months of being in my dad's house, I started experiencing something strange. I called it sleep paralysis because I didn't know what else to call it. Every night as I would go to fall asleep, my body would slowly become paralyzed. I didn't know what was happening, and for a while, I was scared, but I soon got used to it. I would also have this experience in my dad's house. I would also only have experience in my dad's house, never at my mom's. Then after my experience with what I believe to be the spirit of a little girl, if you want to know about that, then go to my previous story. I will have to check the previous story. It suddenly stopped. Years later, I was told what sleep paralysis actually was, and I realized what I experienced was not it. After reading so many cases and stories about sleep paralysis, I noticed they all had one thing in common: a dark, shadowy figure sitting on top of them or somewhere in the room. I also soon found out that when I fall asleep on my back, no matter whose house I'm in, I experience sleep paralysis, but something's off. After reading about all the different stories, I expected to see dark, shadowy figures, but I never do. I've had hallucinations of my bedside light glitching out and loud buzzing in my ear, a pillowcase floating in front of my face, and a tall, blue blob walking towards me with the words El Chapo being repeated like someone's whispering them in my ear. To get out of it, I repeat, "It's not real," over and over in my head, or I can move around and slowly get out of it like I did as a kid. I refrain from sleeping on my back so I don't have those experiences like that again. But I always am wondering how come whenever I experience sleep paralysis, I always have strange hallucinations like the ones I listed above. Is it normal that I don't see a shadowy figure, or is it something else? Also, if anything that could explain my experience with paralysis as a kid, that'd be very helpful. Interesting. Let's see. Yeah. Yeah, like, yeah, like this comment says, like, okay, one that's absolutely fucking terrifying, because sleep paralysis, like, is fucking creepy. Okay, like, I didn't. Ooh. Like, okay. Like that. It is a very. I'm trying to find the right words, but I'm just like, ugh. But man, like, okay. So, yes, typically when it does come to sleep paralysis, majority of people will see like a black, shadowy figure and all that stuff. But it's just like some of the comments were saying that, yeah, like everybody's encounter with sleep paralysis is different. Either way, it's all gonna be terrifying, because sleep paralysis is fucking terrifying, because you're in this state of, like, you're in that midpoint where, like, you're not sure if you're asleep or if you're awake, but you can still feel your body, but not being able to move. And that's what's absolutely terrifying about it. But considering the fact that it's only happening in her dad's house is very interesting. So there's definitely something, like some kind of energy that has to be, like, because clearly from what it sounds like, it's only happening to to this person, and so something must be, like, maybe potentially attaching itself, or maybe trying to tell something. But that's also not always the case, because sometimes it just happens. But yeah, like this comment right here, like, not all sleep paralysis have dark shadowy people sitting on the umpire somewhere in the room. I've experienced sleep paralysis on a few occasions where nothing was sitting on me and I didn't see anything dark, shadowy, or otherwise. I often have a feeling of being prodded on my back, pulling hands and feet, pulling on my duvet. Okay, other experiences where I knew it was definitely not sleep paralysis, despite the fact that the same symptoms were similar. Yes, all I can say is always go with your gut feeling. Yes, you'll always go with your gut feeling, regardless if it's like if you're dealing with something spiritual or you're having an encounter with a real person. You always want to trust your gut, because your gut instincts is like 99% times right. I'm pretty sure there's that 1% where it's like, oh, my gut feeling was wrong. Okay. But it's like always right, pretty much. But it does have, like, the similar feelings of sleep paralysis, where it's like you can't move. But like I said, maybe maybe it's trying to like tell something, it's just like hey, there's something like clearly. Okay, so like what it sounds like the room that they chose was like pretty much untouched. So it could also be a bunch of maybe residual energy, that's just lingering there and has like no connection, whatsoever. It's just there. Which can also be the case, like if like the house got like revamped, fixed up and everything like that. There is still always going to be some kind of residual energy to the location. But that is very interesting and also creepy. And also, like, this becoming slowly paralyzed sounds a lot more terrifying than all, that all of a sudden, just boom, you're paralyzed now. Now weird, creepy shit's gonna happen that you can watch but can't move. It's like something like that. Because I know when I had my sleep paralysis, like I was laying on my side, You know, but I don't know if like laying in a certain position, you know, has a different meaning or something like that to like when you're having your sleep paralysis, you know, but I don't know. Though I am curious to hear about the spirit of the little girl. That sounds interesting because it seems like this all connects. So before we get to the videos that I found, let's read this previous experience because it sounds like they might connect. Which just sounds like somebody came into my room. So let's check this one out. All right. So again, this story is called Somebody Came Into My Room. So there might be potential connections to the previous story that we read by the same person. So let's see. This story happened a few years ago when I was about 13 years old. My parents had separated a few years before, now they live in separate houses. I had always experienced something weird in my dad's new house. I'm going to talk about one of the weirdest and most fascinating ones I've had. My dad always told my younger brother and I to leave our bedroom door open. That rule didn't change when we moved. There were only 2 bedrooms in the house, so I got my own room. Of course, I left the door open. Around this age, I experienced something called sleep paralysis. For those who don't know what that is, it is when I'm about to go to sleep. My entire body becomes paralyzed, but I am still awake. When I first went through this, it scared me because I was a little girl, but I had gotten used to it at this point in time. Thinking back, I have realized that this occurrence only started happening when we moved, and it only happened at my dad's house. It also stopped happening at my dad's house, and this is where the story begins. I always slept facing the wall. My body had gone into sleep paralysis again, but as usual, I just brushed it off. My door, of course, was wide open. Sometime after I became paralyzed, I heard footsteps out in the living room. The footsteps came into my room. Someone jumped up onto my bed and started shaking me. I was scared because not only could I not see what was going on, but I was paralyzed as well. I used all of the strength I could that I could muster, and I was finally able to turn around. When I did, there was nothing there. After that, I had never experienced sleep paralysis again. At first, I believed it was just my imagination because I was young, but it felt too real. I also believed that this someone was a child because it felt way too small to be an adult. I had the thought of it being my brother since he would have been the right size, but not only was he in bed, but I never heard the being leave. It just disappeared. I told my mom of this experience, and she'd think that this ghost tried to help me. Could the ghost have been trying to help? Could this just been my imagination? Interesting. It's very possible. It's very possible that the spirit may have been trying to help. Because okay, I know that there's like so many stories and all that stuff. It's like, oh my god, this spirit is bad, or ghosts are evil. It's like, not all of them are. It's like some of them, you know, could be there, you know, maybe just, you know, like maybe just to like maybe watch over you, or you know, just like hey, I'm still here, you know, blah blah blah, you know, especially if it's like, you know, like family members or something like that and whatnot, you know. But like it is very possible that the spirit was maybe trying to help, you know, like hey, you know, if you go into the sleep paralysis, you know, like scary stuff's gonna happen, let me help you, like, you know, all that stuff. Because not every ghost is bad, you know. You know, of course, you know, some of them are very negative, but not all of them are very negative. Some of them could be trying to help, maybe, like, even if they had a negative experience in life, because obviously, this ghost is a child, so something awful happened, and I am sorry for this ghost child, but maybe they're just like, oh no, maybe they're like, keep reliving the moment, and they're thinking like, oh no, what if like I encountered happens again, so I'm going to save this person, which is, maybe possible. It definitely was not the imagination, okay? If you have some weird experience that you just can't explain, just accept it, okay? You saw it, you experienced it, just don't question it, okay? You were meant to experience that, okay? Like, you were meant to see that, you were meant to hear that, maybe, like, if it touched you, you were meant to feel that, like just don't question these experiences. It happened, especially like in the moment, like, just let it happen. I'm sorry if you hear rumblies, that's my stomach. I haven't eaten today. I woke up and started recording. But anyways. But I mean, this would also be pretty startling because, like, you're about to enter sleep paralysis, and all of a sudden you feel like something just shaking you, and you're just like, oh my god, what the fuck? And then like whatever was there is just like, it doesn't leave the room, like it just disappears, like what was mentioned in here. Yeah, that's probably pretty freaky and startling. You're probably like, what the hell is, what's going on here? Like, whoa. But it is also really interesting. Yeah. Ah. This comment right here, it could be one of your guardians. Which is also possible. Because you know, like everybody has, like some kind of spirit guardian, always, always, just watching over you and all that stuff. It's just, of course, if you believe in that stuff or not. Personally, I do, but I know there's some people that doesn't. There's also people that just don't believe in this stuff just in general. But it's also possible. Could have been a guardian saying like, hey, spooky sleep paralysis, let me save you. So there's many possibilities, but while creepy, also quite interesting. But yeah, let me know what you guys thought of the stories that we read. And now let's get into 2 videos that I found. So let me get the headphones ready and let's go. Okay. So this is from Japan. And okay, so this clip comes from someone who works as a chief security guard at a Japanese company. So let's see. I can't make it full screen, I'm sorry. Supposed to be... Ah. Interesting. I'm sorry, I couldn't make a full screen. Maybe I'll try to zoom in. Let me just zoom in some more. Let me just zoom in. Let's watch that again. It's right here. Yeah, then it just like disappears. Like right around here. Yeah. Yeah, it just pretty much just completely disappears. Okay, starts like right around here. Let me try to slow it. I don't think there's not a better quality. All right. Yeah. That's okay. Take it back to normal. The way it moves is a little weird too. Alright, let me just zoom out. There's no audio, but yeah, the way it moves is a little like I don't know, it's just like ooh, or like it's like this or something like that. It's really weird. Like there's no indication of like when people walk, it's kind of a little bob, to it, all that kind of stuff. It's just like just a solid, just straight, just new. Ah, it's weird. That's a really neat. You can find a lot of weird stuff on those CCTV cameras, and it sucks that like a lot of times the camera quality will be kind of like poo poo, you know. But man, that's so that's neat. Wow. And then it just disappears. But let us get into it. But of course, there's gonna be, those comments, those people. It's like, well, it could be faked. It's possible. It could be. But the fact that it literally just disappears, because like even once it starts getting to like around this point, you could start to see it just fade off, even though you can still kind of see like its head. It's before it completely just dissipates. You know, and then of course like, well, you could just edit that in. Possible, you know. The editing is good. But also gotta remember, like, this is from like from a CCTV camera at a company. But, I mean, I doubt. I mean, I doubt they're gonna fake that. unless somebody just like oh, when the footage was shown, somebody took the footage and was like, let me just edit this in, you know, like, you know. But because the last time we looked at videos, you know, one was, you know, pretty fucking legit, and then the like two others, you know, especially the last one, I don't know about that. But like typically, you know, when it's on like official CCTV footage, you know, at least like from clips I've seen, you know, typically it's probably a little bit more legit. But let me know what you guys think. You know, is this legit? Is, you know, or is this someone faked it? But let me know. Let's go on to the next video. Okay, so this one was from a high school in Asheville, it was North Carolina. So let's zoom in and let's check this out. Ah, this one has audio.
I ain't afraid of no ghosts.
Well, surveillance video at Asheville High School has educators
from official news.
Going to call. News 13's Cassandra Pry joins us now live from Asheville. Cassandra, you saw the video. What do you think?
Well, I'll tell you, it's definitely a phenomena, one that experts say is not unusual in Asheville.
Okay.
It's 2:50 Friday morning. A mysterious figure sets off Asheville High School surveillance cameras. An unsuspecting custodian discovers the strange image while reviewing video later that day.
Basically, we've had a lot of people look at it.
Ah.
And it kind of spread. And,
there it is.
The term ghost has been thrown around, but that's really
there it is.
What we think it is, but it's not explainable.
The figure begins at the elevator and changes form as it moves to the other side of the room. At one point, it even seems to take the shape of a child.
I am not a believer in ghosts, and that's why when I came over, I was sure I would sit down and look at it and say, look, that's this or it's that. But I didn't have an answer, so.
What you got on camera isn't the most common thing. That is really extraordinary.
Paranormal expert Beth Strickland says this is not the case of camera malfunction.
That definitely is paranormal activity.
An apparition, or ghost, if you will.
You can definitely, you know, rule out lighting there, that, you know, because you can see its movement and the shadow.
Yeah, okay, so the flickering, you know, like, is, like, obviously, you know, the quality of, you know, the footage, you know, a lot of times, obviously, like I mentioned before, you know, CCTV cameras aren't the finest of qualities, you know, it's still just enough to where, like, you're like, if like you see just people walking around, you know, like if it's at night and maybe if someone is breaking in or something, like, it's enough, you know, just be like, oh, person. But with this, and also Also, like, what the fuck? My schools didn't have an elevator. That's so fancy. That sounds so fancy. But, anyways, but yeah.
So, you know, in the mist, that's what they call a mist, and then definitely it came to form.
If this is any proof, maybe ghosts do exist.
Maybe that makes me one step closer to believing something that's beyond what we normally see.
School officials worry students who see this video may be too scared to go to school come August 20th.
Bottom line, as I keep saying, is it's not really explainable. We think it's interesting. We don't think Asheville High School is haunted. We don't want students or parents to be alarmed.
Even if students are alarmed, experts say there's nothing to be afraid of.
I know that it makes for really good TV when they have all the really scary things like in a
Yeah, there it
haunting
goes.
and, you know, different things, but I'm really not convinced of really entities that are mean or, you know, out to get you.
Now, as we explained,
Interesting. I wasn't expecting like a full-on news report. but yeah, that is really, really interesting. I mean, like, okay. A lot of times, you know, schools are haunted. Okay, like, I remember, like, many years ago. Oh my god, this makes me sound really old. But when I was in elementary school, like a long time ago, it's like, oh god, it was over 15 years ago. That makes me sound old. But I digress. Anyways, like when it would be in the middle of class and everything, you know, like maybe I go to the bathroom or something, you know, or whatnot. Like, when there was always this one hallway on the first floor. I mean, sadly, that school was teared down, so it doesn't exist anymore. But there was this one hallway on the first floor. Like, even as a kid, like, I always felt a little weird, a little off. And then like I told no one about this because I figured, like, no one's gonna believe me. And like who's gonna believe it because there was this white mist that was going down, and because I was in the middle of one hallway, and then, like, there was the turn to another hallway. I'm motioning with my hands, but you can't see it. Damn it! I'm sorry, but then there was the turn to another hallway, and there was like a little mist that was going towards the other hallway, and I stopped, and I was like, what? I was like, okay. Cool. It was a little weird, but yeah. So, the chances of your school, your elementary school, middle school, high school, colleges, the chances of them having ghosts in it is pretty high. I'm just saying. That also goes for, like, maybe areas or like areas where, like, stores was built. Chances are pretty high. Houses, definitely, the chances are pretty high. Apartments, absolutely. Hotels, again, absolutely. Like every location is always a chance of, like, it being haunted. But the power of the haunt is what's in question, you know? Like, obviously there's areas where it's more active than others, and then there's like other locations where it's like, yeah, there'll be occasional something, like every once in a great blue moon or something. But there's always going to be something. And then, you know, and obviously, you know, there's always, you know, there's still a bunch of people that's like, I don't believe, and it's like, oh, that's totally fine. That's okay. You know, you might never encounter one and have an encounter, or you might end up having one that might question a little bit, you know. that's just what it is. You know, like everything has some kind of history to it where there's going to be a residual energy in there. You know, so yeah, I'm gonna turn the audio down, but let's take a yeah, it's like a mist up there. It's actually, hold on, let's actually slow it down. Yeah, there it is. And it's just kind of just doing its thing. Wow, 2008. Jesus. Yeah, there it is. It definitely is a figure, for sure, of someone very, very young. Could have been it could have been a previous student here, or you know, I mean, I don't know the history of the school. Maybe it could have been like, maybe it could have been like, maybe it could have been a different school at some point. It could have been a different building, you know. Maybe it could have been like some orphanage at some point. Maybe it could have been like some, you know, care center, or like you know, whatever. But it's definitely very small, especially smaller than in like for a high school student. Like, it literally does look like a really small child. At least from the start, until it goes into this big dark mist. Which is interesting. Very neat, very neat. But yeah, but I did a lot of blabbering. But let me know what you guys think, like, of this video. That interesting. Let me just zoom back out. And yeah, I think let's end the video off here. So that was, I mean, it was originally going to be 2, but it turned into 3 ghost stories, but that's okay. So that was 3 ghost stories and 2 videos. So yeah, let me know what you guys think. You know, especially with you know, expanding from Reddit. Yeah, you could still find a lot of cool stuff off Reddit, you know, but you know, it was cool to expand. You know, my mom found this site, as I mentioned in the beginning, and you know, and it's nicely categorized. You know, from stories, articles, pictures, and videos. You know, instead of trying to find, because like, I don't know, I'm just struggling finding ghost videos that's not already in big compilations. but yeah, let me know what you guys think. I mean, if you want to check out this site yourself, it's I'll have it linked in the description. And yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed this week's Spooky Saturday. And yeah, that's it. And I will see you guys in the next video. Bye.